Lionel Messi's father is dead, and for the first time in his life, the greatest footballer in history has no one left to shield him. Jorge Messi died at 68, but before he was an agent, before the contracts, before the cameras, he was a factory worker in Rosario who refused to let his 11-year-old son disappear. Doctors said Messi might never grow properly. Treatment cost money they didn't have. So Jorge carried a VHS tape to Barcelona and waited outside in a rental car while his terrified 13-year-old walked into a trial. That wasn't business. That was belief. When Messi lifted the World Cup in 2022, people saw glory. Jorge saw the injections, the doubt, the nights nobody talks about. He was there before the world believed. You can debate Messi, you can compare him, but today, he's not a legend. He's just a son who lost his father, and football suddenly feels very small. Spain beat Argentina in the World Cup final. Argentina, 0 goals, 24 fouls, 6 cards. Spain, 21 fouls, 0 cards. The same FIFA that protected Argentina the entire tournament suddenly switched sides in the final, and we can tell you exactly why. Because Messi is 39 years old, his career is finished, and FIFA just made $15 billion from this tournament. They needed Messi in the final to collect that money. The moment the final whistle blew, Messi became worthless to them. FIFA's biggest sponsor, Adidas, deal value, $800 million. Extended to 2030, Adidas's biggest global face, Lionel Messi, lifetime contract, $50 million per year in endorsements. Net worth, $1.1 billion. Fox Sports, $480 million contract with FIFA, according to HITC and Yahoo Sports. If Messi was eliminated before the final, what broadcasters and brands were facing, an $800 million commercial loss. That is a business plan. Now watch how that plan worked. Argentina's entire route to the final, group stage, 0 top 15 opponents, round of 16. Egypt, ranked 24th in the world, quarterfinal. Switzerland, ranked 12th, semi-final. Path clear. England faced the most brutal knockout path of any contender, top-ranked opponents at every stage, while Argentina never once touched a top 10 nation until the final, and the same referee who was a nightmare for Argentina at the 2022 World Cup was brought back for this specific final because FIFA's next 15-year business plan just started. His name is Lamine Yamal, 18 years old, Spanish League. La Liga generates more FIFA revenue than Argentina's entire football economy. Adidas and major brands are already building their next global campaign around him. FIFA needed Messi's farewell to sell $15 billion worth of tournament. They got it. Now they need Yamal's arrival to sell the next $15 billion. They just got that too. Messi gave FIFA everything, and in the final, FIFA gave him nothing. This was never football. This was the most calculated business transaction in sports history. The referee for Portugal's biggest final in history was best friends with the enemy coach, and Portugal's own newspapers tried to stop it. One day before kickoff, July 3, 2004, one newspaper's headline, "The Friends from Kaiserslautern." Another one went further, "Watch out. The referee is a friend of the Greeks." Their claim, referee Markus Merck and Greece's manager Otto Rehhagel knew each other for 27 years. One paper even said Merck was Rehhagel's personal family dentist. Portugal panicked. This wasn't a rumor on social media. This was front-page news, hours before their biggest match ever. So Merck was forced to answer on camera. His response, "Rehhagel was never my patient. I've treated 5,000 people in my life. Portuguese, Greek, it doesn't matter. My mind is on one thing, fair play." But then Rehhagel said something strange. He admitted Merck once sent him off the bench during a Bundesliga match. So, strangers don't get sent off by each other, do they? Minutes later, the match started. Ronaldo and Figo were pulled down, again and again. The crowd screamed for a foul. The whistle stayed silent. Portugal lost, at home, to a team that had never won a single game at a major tournament before that summer. A 19-year-old cried on that pitch that night. 12 years later, he lifted the trophy that 2004 refused to give him. Was it fixed? Or was it just heartbreak? Comment your theory. Ronaldo didn't leave Real Madrid. Real Madrid made sure he had no reason to stay. 2017, Spain charges Ronaldo with $14.7 million in tax fraud. Career-threatening, reputation-destroying. 1 year earlier, Messi faced the exact same storm. Barcelona launched a full public campaign. Banners, social media, official club statements. "Where are Leo Messi?" Real Madrid. They said nothing. Not one public word. And here's what nobody explains. It wasn't just cold behavior. There's a reason for it. Perez has one rule: no player is bigger than Real Madrid. But there's something deeper. Ronaldo wasn't even Perez's signing. The previous president brought him in. From day one, Ronaldo was never truly Perez's project. That matters more than people think. As Ronaldo won more, his global power started competing with the club's own brand, 3 Champions Leagues in a row. But instead of feeling untouchable, Ronaldo told France Football magazine, "In the beginning, I felt like Cristiano Ronaldo. Later, less so." Think about that for a second. The best player on the planet feeling invisible inside his own club. Behind closed doors, contract talks were happening. Ronaldo had just broken every record, but Messi was earning more. Neymar had just moved for a world record fee. Ronaldo asked for a new deal, one that matched his status. Perez offered far less than expected. And when Ronaldo's tax bill came, reports suggest he expected the club to back him financially. Perez refused. This is your personal image rights issue, not the club's problem. And while all this was happening, Real Madrid were quietly building a future without Ronaldo. Gareth Bale, Perez's own signing, was always the plan to replace him. Then the Neymar rumors started. Ronaldo wasn't just losing support, he was being phased out. Barcelona told Messi, "You are us." Real Madrid told Ronaldo, "You are a business decision." When Juventus offered 100 million euros for a 33-year-old, Perez didn't fight to keep him. He signed the paperwork, and that was the real goodbye.
For years, boys trained under a coach who promised them a future in professional football. What they didn't know was that the dream was being used against them. Barry Bennell was a youth football coach in England during the 1980s and 1990s. He worked with young players connected to professional clubs, including Crewe Alexandra and Manchester City. He wasn't a superstar coach, but he had something more powerful: access to talent. Access to ambition, access to children who trusted him. Former players later described a pattern. He presented himself as the gateway to professional contracts. He offered extra training sessions, invited boys on football trips, positioned himself as mentor, protector, and opportunity. Parents trusted him because he was linked to real football clubs. That authority created silence. When boys felt uncomfortable, they feared losing their careers if they spoke. That fear became control. Back then, safeguarding rules were weaker. Background checks were limited. Oversight was inconsistent. Clubs relied heavily on informal trust. Warning signs were missed or dismissed. And because victims were young and afraid, the system didn't face immediate pressure. In 2016, former professional footballer Andy Woodward went public. He described the abuse he experienced as a child under Bennell. That interview triggered something massive. Within days, dozens of former players contacted authorities, then hundreds. A national investigation began. Barry Bennell was charged, tried and convicted multiple times. In 2018, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Later trials increased his sentence even further. The courts confirmed a pattern of abuse spanning years. But the hardest truth isn't just about one man, it's about how football allowed it to continue. Power without oversight, trust without verification, silence without protection. Barry Bennell is in prison, but the lesson for football is permanent. Protecting talent is not enough. You have to protect the child first.